When most people think about ancient Africa, they think about the pyramids of Egypt, the mighty pharaohs, and the famous phoenix. But what if I told you there was another African kingdom that became so powerful it conquered Egypt itself? The kingdom produced fearless warriors, wealthy kings, and legendary black pharaohs who ruled one of the greatest civilizations on earth. Even more surprising, the kingdom of Kush built more pyramids than Egypt, yet today very few people know its name. So, who are the Kushites? How did they rise to power? And why did such great empire disappear from history? This is the incredible story of the kingdom of Kush, Africa's forgotten empire. More than 3,000 years ago, along the banks of Nile River, south of ancient Egypt, a powerful civilization began to grow. The land was called Kush. Today, it is located mainly in the modern country of Sudan. The people of Kush lived in the region filled with fertile land, rich gold mines, and important trade routes. These natural resources helped the kingdom become one of the richest and the most powerful civilization in Africa. For many years, Kush and Egypt were close neighbors. Sometimes they traded peacefully, sharing goods, ideas, and culture. Other times, they fought bitter wars and each kingdom tried to control the valuable lands along the Nile. At one point, Egypt became so powerful and it invaded Kush and ruled the region for hundreds of years. The Egyptians built temples, fortresses, and trading centers throughout Kush. They also introduced their language, religion, and way of life. But the people of Kush never forgot who they were. Even while living under Egyptians' rule, they kept many of their own traditions, their own leaders, and their strong fighting spirit. Eventually, Egypt became too weak. Powerful rulers fought each other. Foreign enemies attacked, and the once great empire started to fall apart. The people of Kush saw this as their chance to unite under strong kings, rebuild their cities, and create a powerful army. Their new capital was a city called Napata. Napata quickly became the heart of the Kushite kingdom. It was surrounded by sacred mountains, busy markets, and beautiful temples. The kings of Kush believed that they had a special mission. They wanted to protect their people, their culture, and even the ancient tradition that Egypt itself had begun to abandon. As Kush grew stronger, its leaders looked north toward Egypt. Instead of fearing Egypt, they believed they could save it. One man would make that dream a reality. His name was Piye. Piye was not just a skilled warrior. He was also a deeply religious king who believed the gods had chosen him. To unite the lands of the Nile, around 730 BC, Egypt was no longer one united kingdom. Different rulers controlled different cities, and they constantly fought against one another. Seeing the chaos, Piye gathered his powerful army and marched north towards Egypt. His soldiers were highly trained. They carried bows, spears, shields, and rode fast horses into battle. As city after city surrendered, Piye's reputation grew. Some rulers chose to fight. Others surrendered without a battle, knowing they could not stop the advancing Kushite army. Soon, Piye stood victorious. For the first time in history, the kingdom of Kush has conquered Egypt. It was an extraordinary achievement. An African kingdom from the south had become the ruler of one of the world's greatest civilizations. Piye did not destroy Egypt. Instead, he respected its region, restored its temples, and honored its traditions. He believed he was protecting the true value of ancient Egypt, not repressing them. His victory marked the beginning of the 25th dynasty, also known today as the dynasty of Black Pharaohs. For nearly a century, the kingdom of Kush ruled both Kush and Egypt, creating one of the largest empires in the ancient world. The Black Pharaohs did not see themselves as foreign rulers. Instead, they believed they were the rightful protectors of Egypt's ancient traditions. They repaired temples that had been damaged, rebuilt holy places, and honored the Egyptians' gods. Their goal was not to erase history, but to preserve it. One of the greatest kings of this dynasty was a man named Taharqa. Even today, many historians consider him one of the most powerful rulers of the history of Kush. When Taharqa became king, the empire stretched from deep inside modern Sudan all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. His kingdom controlled important trade routes, rich farmland, and valuable gold mines. This wealth allowed him to build magnificent temples, large palaces, and impressive monuments. He also strengthened the army, knowing that powerful enemies were watching from the east. At that time, one empire was expanding faster than any other. It was the Assyrian Empire. The Assyrians were famous for their discipline, their powerful weapons, and their brutal battles. Many kingdoms fell before them. Now, their attention turned toward Egypt and the lands ruled by Kush. Taharqa refused to surrender. Instead, he gathered his soldiers and prepared for one of the greatest wars of his life. The battles were long and extremely difficult. The Kushite army fought with courage, protecting their land against one of the strongest armies the world had never seen. For a time, they successfully stopped the Assyrian advanced their victories, made Taharqa a respected leader across the ancient world. But the Assyrians kept returning with large armies and new strategies. After years of fighting, they finally captured important cities in North Egypt. Taharqa was forced to retreat south into Kush. Although he lost Egypt, he never lost his determination to protect his homeland. After Taharqa's death, other Kushite kings continued the struggle, but it became clear that controlling Egypt was becoming more difficult than ever before. Eventually, the rulers of Kush decided to focus on strengthening their own kingdom. The capital later moved from Napala to a city called Meroë. The decision changed the future of the kingdom. Meroë was surrounded by forest, iron ore, and the important trade routes. It quickly became one of the richest cities in the ancient Africa. Unlike many civilizations that depended mainly on bronze, the people of Meroë became masters of iron production. They produced iron tools, weapons, and farming equipment on a large scale. Because of this, many historians call Meroë one of Africa's earliest industrial centers. Merchants from Egypt, Arabia, Central Africa, and even India visited the city. They traded gold, ivory, iron, ebony, precious stones, and exotic animals. The kingdom of Kush became incredibly wealthy. Its markets were filled with goods from different parts of ancient world. As the kingdom prospered, its rulers continued building one of the most famous symbols, the pyramids. Most people believe Egypt has the largest numbers of pyramids on earth, but that is not true. The kingdom of Kush built more than 250 pyramids, while Egypt has around 120 serving royal pyramids. Although the Kushite pyramids were smaller, they were steeper, beautiful, designed and built for kings, queens, and nobles. Today, many of them still stand in the deserts of northern Sudan, yet very few tourists know they exist. For centuries, the pyramids of Kush remained hidden from much of the world. Because of this, the story of the Black Pharaohs was almost forgotten, but the legacy of Kush did not end with the pyramids. Its influence could be seen in architecture, religion, trade, and African civilization for hundreds of years. For hundreds of years, the kingdom of Kush stood as one of Africa's greatest civilizations. Its people built thriving cities, controlled busy trade routes, and created powerful culture that inspired many others. But like every great empire, Kush eventually began to face new challenges. Trade routes started to change. Some merchants found different paths to move their goods, bringing less wealth into the kingdom. And at the same time, new kingdoms were rising nearby. Competition grew stronger, and Kush had to defend its borders more often. Another challenge came from within. powerful rulers were becoming harder to replace and leadership weakened. The kingdom had become less united. Around the 4th century AD, a neighboring kingdom called Aksum, located in present-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, became increasingly powerful. Aksum controlled important trade across the Red Sea and was growing into one of the world's great commercial empires. Historical evidence suggests that conflict between Aksum and Kush played a role in weakening the Kushite kingdom. By around 350 AD, the kingdom of Kush had largely disappeared as a major political power. Its greatest cities were abandoned, its temples fell into silence, and the desert slowly covered many of its monuments with sand. As centuries passed, the world remembered Egypt, but Kush was almost forgotten. Its pyramids stood quietly under the hot Sudanese sun, waiting for someone to discover them again. Then, many centuries later, archaeologists began exploring the ancient ruins of northern Sudan. What they found amazed the world. Hidden beneath layers of sand were royal tombs, beautiful temples, ancient inscriptions, and hundreds of pyramids. These discoveries prove that Kush had been one of the greatest civilizations in African history. Researchers also discovered that many queens held extraordinary power. Some were called Kandakes or Kandakes. These warrior queens helped rule the kingdom, led enemies, and defended their people. Their courage became famous across the ancient world. One Kandake known as Amanirenas even fought against the mighty Roman Empire. Although the Romans were one of history's strongest military powers, they failed to completely conquer Kush. After years of fighting, both sides agreed to a peace treaty. It was a remarkable achievement for African kingdom to negotiate as an equal with Rome. Today, the story of Kush is finally receiving the attention it deserves. Its pyramids are still standing. Its history is being taught in more schools, studied by researchers, and shared with the world. The kingdom of Kush reminds us that Africa's history is far richer and more powerful than many people realize. It is a story of resilience, innovation, leadership, and courage. A story of kings, queens, warriors, and builders who shaped history thousands of years ago. The Black Pharaohs prove that greatness is not defined by geography, but by vision, strength, and determination. Although their empire eventually disappeared, their legacy never truly died. It lives on in the pyramids of Sudan, in the discoveries of archaeologists, and in the growing recognition of Africa's remarkable past. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not how the kingdom of Kush became so powerful. The real mystery is why the world forgot about it for so long. Now, its story is being told again. And once more, the kingdom of Kush is taking its rightful place among the greatest civilization the world has ever known. This is a Free Media Network Lens. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this journey through history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next documentary.